From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alyssa Donovan. Let's get right to Todd Clausen with a look at the forecast.
And Alyssa, it's another beautiful day here across central Indiana. Our temperatures are above normal and the sun is shining, and I would do everything you can to get outdoors a little later on this afternoon to enjoy this weather if you can. We're sitting at 70 degrees right now in Indianapolis, 73 in Bloomington, a couple 60s out there as well in Peru as well as Columbus. But you have to keep in mind our normal high temperature this time of year is 68 degrees. So many locations at this noon hour already above that number. And with all the sunshine you see as you look from downtown to the north, these temperatures, they will continue to warm another maybe about 5-6 degrees in many locations for your afternoon highs. Satellite radar picture shows nothing locally. There's some clouds down to our south, but high pressure is firmly in control, giving us a little bit of a southerly wind, and that's what's helping to bring these above normal temperatures right here into central Indiana. So this afternoon, as I mentioned, about 75 to 76 degrees with mostly sunny skies as we work our way into the evening hours. Once the sun sets, which is now before 7:30, we'll cool off into the 60s fairly quickly. So if you do have evening plans, I would still encourage you to have the light jacket handy. We need some rainfall here across the area. We do have some in our extended forecast. We'll talk more about that in detail for you, Alyssa, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Todd. The new numbers on the pandemic are just out from the state health department, and there's an increase in new cases yet again. 1,488 new positive tests were reported, along with 15 additional deaths. The statewide positive test rate also continues to slowly climb. The state health department also says the number of people being treated in hospitals for COVID-19 was also back over the 1,100 mark. Also new this midday, one Central Indiana high school is moving to send students back to the classroom. Students at Greenfield Central High School have been on a hybrid schedule since mid-August. But starting next month, they'll be back in the classroom 4 days a week, with each Wednesday spent at home doing virtual learning. The school's principal says that while the hybrid plan has improved health and safety, students' academics and emotional health have not fared as well. Greenfield Central schools have had only a handful of reported COVID-19 cases this school year. It's also back to in-person learning for students at a college that had to briefly go virtual. Last week, Franklin College decided to move all classes online for 1 week because of a spike in COVID-19 cases among students. But this week, administrators at the college in Johnson County say the situation has improved. Students will return to their regular classes starting next Monday. Franklin College is planning to hold its graduation for the class of 2020 this coming Sunday. The traditional event, usually held indoors, is set to be done outside to help promote social distancing. And some families continue to struggle to make ends meet during the pandemic, but one organization is getting involved to help keep children in those families safe and to help keep the families together. Safe Families for Children uses host families and others to provide a network of support for people while they work to get back on their feet. We spoke to one family who has hosted a 2-year-old girl over the summer while the girl's mother dealt with a difficult pregnancy.
Gabby's mom did not choose to have a rough pregnancy, and she did not choose to be high risk, and she didn't choose to give birth early. You know, she didn't choose to give birth 5 weeks early and then have her son deal with his oxygen levels going up and down. So, you know, we've been here, and we need other families who want to provide that love and that care.
Schneider says if hosting isn't something that you can do, there are other ways to help, such as cooking meals, babysitting, or donating money. We have more on how you can get involved inside this story at WRTV.com. And the day after a civil debate between the candidates for vice president, President Trump's chaotic re-election campaign was back in the news. The president says he will not agree to the debate commission's plan to make his second debate with Joe Biden virtual because of Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
Sitting 12 feet apart, separated by plexiglass, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris faced off in their first and only debate. With the White House a hotbed of COVID-19 infection, the coronavirus pandemic took center stage.
The American people have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of our country.
President Donald Trump did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel from China.
The moderator also pressing the vice president, who is the head of the coronavirus task force, about what appears to have been a super spreader event at the White House.
It was an outdoor event, which all of our scientists regularly and routinely advise.
While he claimed a vaccine is right around the corner, experts say it likely won't be widely available until several months into next year.
If Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely.
Though less fiery than last week's presidential debate, there were multiple interruptions.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I have to
I'm
weigh
speaking.
in. Joe Biden.
Your campaigns agreed to the rules for tonight's debate. I'm here to enforce them.
Both candidates dodged some key questions. As for next week's presidential debate, the Commission for Presidential Debates announcing a new virtual format with President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden participating remotely with the town hall audience and moderator at the venue. Trump telling Fox News today he's taking a pass, calling the virtual debate a joke.
No, I'm not going to waste my time on a virtual debate. That's not what debating's all about.
Biden's campaign says he's looking forward to speaking directly to the American public. The Commission on Presidential Debates says it made the decision in order to protect the health and safety of all involved in the debate, and neither campaign was consulted beforehand. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
New this midday, the owner of a wildlife park whose animals were recently confiscated and moved to the Indianapolis Zoo has been arrested while on the run from authorities. The Clark County Sheriff's Department says Tim Stark was taken into custody in Washington County, New York. That's near the state capital of Albany. A warrant for Stark's arrest was issued last month over the treatment of animals at his Wildlife in Need Park in southern Indiana. He's also accused of threatening a deputy state attorney general who was inspecting the park earlier this year. Stark was among those featured in the Netflix documentary series Tiger King. More money for Metro Police takes another step forward, but next we'll show you how it isn't happening without objections from some community members and some on the City County Council.
And as you walk out the door, we're walking out to above normal temperatures here this afternoon already. And as we go throughout the next couple days, we're going to get even warmer. We have some 80s in your future. We'll break it all down for you coming up in the WRTV Storm Team Forecast when the news at noon continues right here on WRTV.
The City County Council will take a final vote next week on a plan to boost the police department's budget. But some members of the community are not happy with that decision. Last night, the council's Public Safety Committee approved an additional $7.7 million in funding for Metro Police for the next budget year. The department says the money will be used to hire more officers, add body cameras and other equipment, and for legal settlements. But some Indy residents are angry the extra money isn't going to help people who continue to struggle during the pandemic.
Squandering the money they already have. So defund the police and reallocate that money to the communities that actually need it.
4th District Councilor Ethan Evans was among those trying to get more money diverted toward community resources.
Well, I'm all for expanding, the additional ways to get more mental health care in the community, get more rapid response for, mental health, people in mental health crises in the community. I just feel that, we should be, finding alternative ways to do it that might not include having public safety officers, in those runs all the time.
The committee also heard from the police department about the IMPD Health and Hospital Corporation team. They're trying to provide enhanced resources and training and improve responses to situations involving behavioral health issues. And coming back from the pandemic, it's tougher for some than others. Next, we'll look into the reasons why.
As a black woman, it's really tough for us to kind of get out there and find a job.
We're going to look into the reasons why it's so hard for some people to get back into the workforce. And here's a live look over downtown Indianapolis. Todd will have your full forecast coming up next. New this midday, new claims for unemployment benefits are up yet again in Indiana. The Department of Labor says more than 11,000 Hoosiers filed for regular unemployment benefits for the first time last week. Applications for special pandemic unemployment assistance was also up. More than 36,000 Hoosiers applied for some type of employment last week. That's an increase of more than 5,000 from the previous week. And it's a startling trend as the economy remains stagnant during the pandemic. The Department of Labor says the black community is having the toughest time landing jobs or returning to their old jobs. Our Troy Washington spoke with a woman who's back on her feet after being laid off back in May.
Shania Wooden worked in the insurance industry before the pandemic hit.
I lost my job, and I lost it due to that, of course, the doctor's office and things like that were shut down. A lot of people were doing telehealth. So the company was kind of losing business. So they had to let about 50 people in the company go. So I was one of those ones they let go.
Right away, she started to worry.
I was just like, what am I going to do? I have, house payment, a car payment. I just have a lot of bills. I didn't want those bills to, pile up on me. So the first thing that I did was I got online and applied for unemployment.
Wooden connected with the Reset Center, a community resource that helped connect her with her next opportunity.
It's really tough. Yeah, as a black woman, it's really tough for us to kind of get out there and find a job within, our career or maybe the salary range. And that was kind of another thing for me, looking at the salary range, because, like I said, some of the jobs that I did interview with, they didn't want to pay what I wanted, to make.
In fact, a recent study based on National Department of Labor numbers found that black men and women are having the hardest time getting their jobs back during the pandemic. The study says more than half of white Americans have gotten their jobs back, compared to only 34% for black men and 39% for black women have been reemployed.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all because, right now with what's going on, it's really hard.
We checked with the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. They tell us that more Hoosiers are getting back to work as things reopen. They tell us nearly 65% of the workforce is back. Like Wooden, who is already back to work.
It was a struggle, but I did make ends meet. Yeah, I started back in August. I've been there for 60 days now. It kind of came through at the right moment.
Her advice for anyone still looking:
just keep going. I know it's a struggle, but just keep going, keep pushing, keep praying, and it will come your way.
Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
And there are companies who are hiring right now. We have a list of open positions and everything you need to know about finding your next job right now at hiringhoosiers.com and on our Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. And it's been a really nice day today. Let's get to Todd Clausen with a look at the forecast for the rest of the week. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, good morning and good afternoon, I guess now, Alyssa, as we pass that noon hour. But you're exactly right. We are dealing with sunshine. Temperatures are very pleasant here. No humidity out there. The one thing we could use is a little bit of rain. And I always say I like to get some rain showers in during the middle half of the week compared to the weekends. But here's why we need the rain. This is now the longest stretch of weather we have seen with a 1/10 of an inch or less of rain ever for the city of Indianapolis. 50 days so far. Today we're going to tack on 51 because we won't see any rain. Tomorrow's going to be probably about 52 days. And even as we do get into some rain chances, as we work our way into the second half of the weekend, it looks like most of the rain is going to be very, very light. With that said, it's hard to complain when you have the sunshine and temperatures like this now, as we're almost 10 days into October. 67 in Peru, 66 68 in Tipton, 7 in Indy right now. 73 is the current temperature in Bloomington, and Terre Haute's at 75 degrees. And here is that sunshine as you look from downtown to the north. And this is the way it's going to be throughout the day today. Yesterday we had those gusty winds. Today we have lost the wind. It's just a very calm and bright day for us. And as you saw there, you can see the foliage starting to change on the trees as we push here through the month of October. About 80 today in Bloomington, 82 in Terre Haute, 76 the high temperature in Indy as well as Muncie. The satellite radar picture here locally is really quiet. We'll expand out and you notice a little more in the way of cloud cover to the south. And tomorrow we go from mostly sunny to partly cloudy. We'll go a little further to the south. And this is Hurricane Delta, and it's continuing to strengthen now in the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see in the last few frames here the eye starting to develop. That's a sign that the storm is continuing to gain strength, and it's expected to be a major hurricane, Category 3, when it makes landfall down along the Gulf Coast during the day tomorrow. Closer to home this evening, 70s falling into the 60s as the sun starts to set. A very comfortable overnight period, and then for the day tomorrow, it's a warm day. Again, I mentioned starting off sunny, then turning partly cloudy in the afternoon. Highs tomorrow should climb up into the low 80s between about 2 and 4 p.m. And then as we look towards the weekend, Saturday, the remnants of Delta will move to our south. So I think there's definitely in southern locations more in the way of clouds on Saturday, and maybe we'll have to throw in a hit or miss shower. But there's going to be a very sharp cutoff with the precipitation on Saturday. On Sunday, a front comes through, and that'll bring a better opportunity for more widespread shower activity. And then showers will stay in the forecast for Monday and Tuesday, but none of those days, Alyssa, features any heavy rainfall. It's just more some scattered showers. But again, until those showers arrive, we're looking at above normal temperatures and sunny skies.
All right, sounds like a pretty nice week ahead. Thanks, Todd. And moving during a pandemic is difficult enough, but it's even worse when your movers damage your stuff. Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau says you need to take a closer look at exactly who's handling your belongings.
This is really a story about someone who used a moving broker. We've talked a lot about moving companies here, and here's what happened to this particular person in Indianapolis. They wanted to move down to Florida, so they contacted a mover in Florida. When it came to moving day, though, the people who showed up were a company called Master Movers here in Indianapolis. They did not have enough people to move. They did not have the right size trucks. They were not skilled in moving some of his items, particularly a grand piano that took a little bit of skill to move. When they finally got down to his location in Florida, the truck actually caused some damage. So they had to actually get the police to come and make a report and make certain that they got the insurance and the license information from the driver. So what I'm saying here is that if you are going to be moving, make certain that if you're going to use a moving broker, that you understand that, hey, that contract is going to be sold to another mover that you may not know who that mover is, and it's going to be very, very difficult if there's any sort of problems here. So good thing to do is always go to bbb.org and check out trustworthy movers, but there are moving brokers out there, and at that point, you're kind of dealing with third party, and that can be sometimes very, very difficult. And in this particular case, this mover, Master Movers here in Indianapolis, they have an F rating with BBB. They just really didn't do the job and really caused a lot of problems for this particular consumer.
Tim, thank you. And you can find out more about this scam at the Better Business Bureau's website, bbb.org. And the pandemic is not stopping the Great Pumpkin. Up next, we'll take a closer look at the biggest pumpkin you might see ahead of Halloween this year. You're watching WRTV. We'll be right back. If someone asks you to take home this pumpkin for your Halloween jack-o'-lantern, you might respond with, "Oh my gourd." Check out this whopper of a pumpkin grown in Kansas that is squashing all the competition. Oh, that was good. How much do you think it weighs? The answer is 1,614 pounds. How about that? That's a Kansas state record, and it's also enough to spice your latte for a really long time. For now, this monster squash resides at the Applejack Pumpkin Patch. Rumor has it, the grower has an even bigger one he hasn't unveiled yet. Either way, cultivating these massive pumpkins is his hobby, and he harvests seeds from his record breakers to keep the gigantic DNA going. How about that, Todd? It's kind of crazy.
Well, soil there in Kansas, apparently, growing pumpkins that large. All right. Outside right now, lots of sunshine. We'll continue with this sunshine as we go throughout the day. 76 today, 80 tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. Still warm on Saturday, just a little more in the way of cloud cover before showers return on Sunday. Alyssa.
All right. Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Join us for the news at 5. Have a good afternoon.